everybody, and welcome to Dungeons and Drams. It's been a couple of weeks. Want to say hi to everybody here in the room, and let's start off tonight with Clifton. What are you drinking tonight?
Hello. Well, I'm probably doing a faux pas by not practicing for Matt Madness because I'm competing this week. But I'm just drinking Jameson Caskmates. This is the stout edition. I love this. I always have this on hand, like for cocktails. I'm drinking a cocktail, but I might pour it neat in a bit soon. But I might grab something a little bit later to train a bit more. But that's what I'm doing right now.
I like that one. What's the cocktail?
I said cocktail, mixed drink. I think I had last week just Jameson ginger ale.
Oh, okay.
Nothing wrong with that. Classic, man.
Classic, Yep. Nice. Let's see. Why don't we? I always pick on people. Why don't we just keep it rolling? Who'd like to go next? We'll have to figure out how to do this a little bit smoother in the future.
Right.
Well, speaking of cocktails, hey, someone else has a cocktail tonight.
I'm having a legit cocktail.
Look at that, fancy.
I went all out to have a pina colada because we're about to get hit by a winter storm, so I'm trying to pretend it's not happening.
I like that. That's a good tactic.
I like that. And funnily enough, and we didn't coordinate this at all, I also have a cocktail tonight.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
Serendipitous. It's basically just gin and juice, but I dressed it up a little bit.
Nice.
So barrel-aged gin, a little bit of strawberry lemonade, and then a dash of Drambuie, dash of Kloster liqueur, which is like a fruit schnapps.
Fruit
Wow.
Very
You really, you really dressed it up.
Freaking cocktails like Snoop Dogg. Love it.
I know.
Yeah.
You really can't hear gin and juice or gin and tonic, like anything gin. I just immediately get the song in my head. It's like the third time it's happened today too. Yeah.
I got caught up in the SMWS live stream earlier, and they were going through some really cool bottles, so I broke out. This is an 18-year-old Campbelltown, finish in ex-bourbon and rum. So
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
It's an 18-year-old Campbelltown, and it's freaking delicious. So
I bet.
I never use the word delicious lightly.
Let's see who we have. So actually, is that everybody but me? I think.
Molly.
I'm Molly.
I try not to call on Molly because every week she's just like, I'm drinking water. I don't want to make her feel.
Some people might be interested in the non-alcoholic choices that are out there in case they're trying to get hydrated.
Do you have a interesting non-alcoholic hydrating choice?
I do, actually. Thank you for asking. I have a cup of chai tea.
Ooh.
I've also got some zero sugar Powerade. And because I need a trifecta of drinks on my desk, I've got some water.
That's a lot of beverage.
Awesome. Bill,
I'm hydrated.
she had the magical seltzer last time. That was
Yeah.
really
She
cool.
did.
We all complimented it. So come on, man.
That's true. I guess that's my mistake. Yes. Cool. And actually, Clifton, I didn't really know what I wanted to drink because I just didn't take the time. So I was gonna grab the Jameson stout that you're drinking, but then I saw the Black Barrel right behind it, and I'd much rather have this.
I just killed a bottle.
So.
Yeah, I killed a bottle of that like last week. I go back and forth. I like both of them pretty equally.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of really any of the IPA or the stout. I like the stout more than the IPA, but I wasn't.
Yeah, IPA is like nah. I don't like that one that much.
Nice.
I was pleasantly surprised by the IPA, and I'm not a big IPA guy, but I kind of dug it.
I assumed it was because I don't like IPAs. That's why I didn't like it. But I just think the stout gives a lot more body and character, and I like having that bit of like heftiness to it.
Yeah,
so I do like IPAs, and I didn't like that one, but maybe that has something to do with it too. Maybe it didn't hold up to the promise, I guess.
There's some hop infused whiskey if you really want to try that. I've tried some on my channel, and it's not great.
I was gonna say I don't really feel like that would go well together.
Well, there's some expensive ones. I just had a cheap one. It was like a Halloween special like edition whiskey, but there's like a really expensive one. I forget the name, but like they're pretty popular.
Okay.
I think Copper and Kings has a beer ski, like a hopped whiskey beer thing. I know they have it. Although I got one for my old man and he hated it. So
Nice. All right. I want to take a quick pause saying thank you to all of our patrons, Mike Cullerton, Adriana, EJ, James, Steve A, Tony Two Toes, Gavin, and David. So thank you guys all for supporting the channel. If anybody's interested, check out the description below to find a link. Over there, you get behind the scenes stuff. And we were actually just talking a couple minutes ago about potentially just doing kind of like Patreon or patron only stream where we kind of hang out and drink and chat. And we'd love to have you guys join that. So consider joining. Fairly low barrier to entry. But something else that was very exciting that I wanted to bring up is at the end of last session, every single time this has happened, I forgot to bring it up on stream. You guys all leveled up to level 7. So I'm not going to put anybody on the spot here because sometimes it's kind of fun to keep things to yourself. But if anybody would like to say anything that their character is now capable of doing, and if you get some bonus points if you can find a way to role play why you're now able to do that thing.
I'm just curious if anybody got something cool, because I didn't.
Well, if I up the ante here, instead of bonus points, maybe you should give someone an extra risky whiskey if they are able to.
I like that. Sure. All right, how about this? First person to give me something good gets an extra risky whiskey. Who's brave?
God, I'm trying to think what I even gave my guy.
I've got one. I've got one that I kind of like to picture.
Go for it.
It's called the bait and switch.
Okay.
And so I get to basically swap places with anyone next to me. And I like to think I do it like Matador style or like Meta Knight in Smash Bros. Where he swirls his cape up and then disappears and then pops over to the side like, wah, Matador.
Fantastic. Matador. All right, Ed, you've got yourself an extra inspiration. Anybody else? Again, not putting it.
I was going to say, there may be a new darkest person in town after my spell. So.
I like it. Cool.
I believe I picked a sleep enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
It's called just called sleep. It just I just kind of snap my fingers, and because I'm so dark, I fucking like put them to sleep, and I just want to go to bed. So
like Sandman walking around.
Yeah, like literally like the Sandman. Like all of a sudden, like Alessio's like sand comes out of sand. Is like sleep.
Nice. Now, something that the people at home will notice, I'm sharing now the screen that shows our virtual tabletop. I have added a little fun thing to Alessio's character, because you might remember at the end of last episode, or about during the fight, something happened to Alessio where suddenly he is now glowing yellow. Now, I thought I would explain this particular enchantment just a little bit more so that you guys can have this in mind while playing the game. It is basically your skin, but more so about a quarter of an inch away from your skin is just this yellow hue, kind of like an aura. So this is something that could potentially be covered, but it would have to be something that covered your body by more than, say, a quarter to a half an inch. So like, let's say you're inside of a tent. Your tent is not going to be glowing yellow. But if you're wearing your clothes, you are still going to be glowing yellow. I've kind of deemed this to be something that is easily visible within 30 feet. And if you are trying to stealth in a way that people would see you within, let's say, 50 to 100 feet, you're going to have disadvantage on that stealth roll. And you glow yellow.
Great.
So, and if I remember correctly, I believe you rolled, it was going to be for 10 full days, actually. So this is quite a while. But,
yeah,
it was a really bad roll. I think you rolled 2 D6s and rolled a 10.
Yeah, 10 days I'm going to be looking like a lizard big bird. The hell.
Yeah, thanks for your jaundice.
Right.
Gonna get us all caught.
I know. Anything, and what sucks is like his main shit is being stealthy, and that's completely out the window.
Yeah, so that was
Mr. Burns when he has he looks like the alien. He comes wandering out of the woods, just glowing bright.
He's bringing love. Get him.
Yeah, like, you know that meme of Homer Simpson like backing up into the bushes.
Yeah,
that's gonna be Alessio the whole time. Is it yellow?
Now.
Awesome. All right, so if you guys are ready, let's get into the game here. So we'll do a quick recap because it's been a couple of weeks since we played. So, when last we saw our heroes, they were in mortal combat with a giant Umber Hulk and a group of troglodytes. The Umber Hulk used its gaze to confuse and mesmerize the party, causing errant attacks against friends, random wandering around in a stupor, and in one case, causing Daffy to fall off a cliff through some jagged rocks and into the water below, taking her to another area of the cave system. The group pushed the creature into fire. Alessio, after casting his booming blade attack, was enveloped in magic briefly and began glowing a bright yellow. Staying focused, the group continued their attack. The Umber Hulk was whipped, shot with arrows and eldritch blasts, and while attempting to escape, Alessio plunged his rapier right up the creature's pooper, rupturing its vital organs and causing near-instant death. Alessio's yellow glow was not dampened by the torrent of blood and other vital fluids coming from the creature's backside, but regardless, the group arose victorious, looted the body of its carapace, found the mechanism to open the door, and headed outside into the moonlit night. So I'm going to bring us over here.
How could we forget that it went right up the pooper?
Right in the pooper. All right.
Right.
So I'm going to pause here just so nobody moves around. So we rejoin our adventurers outside of the Mistscale lair as they emerge back into the bush of Jilriel. It's approximately 3 a.m. and you're feeling exhausted. You'll need to sleep pretty soon or start suffering the effects of exhaustion. About 50 feet away, you see a group of 3 green tents. The flaps on the tents are closed. Several pairs of boots surround a fire that is not much more than coals at this point, and Alessio's yellow shimmering is threatening to reveal your location in the darkness of the jungle. Whether there's anyone awake to see it, that's a question you guys are going to have to ask yourselves.
Now, we don't have any of our cloaks or clothes or anything. Those all turned into like lizard skin.
Not so. If you had something in particular that you'd like to use, so you basically your regular clothes are it's kind of like a polymorph. Like anything that you were wearing is now part of you. But if there was something that you had, like a cloak, for example, I would let you use that. That would be fine.
I just think of something we could cover up the lightning bug over here with. So he doesn't give us away.
Lightning bug. So there's just a camp of potentially just sleeping people.
Correct. Yep, potentially. I mean, one could assume. So the camp itself, there is a fire there, but it's low, if not just embers, but it's mostly like a glow.
Can we tell how many boots are around the tents?
Roll a perception check.
Uh, 18.
Right. So you see 3 distinct pairs of boots, kind of outside of 3 separate tents. And with an 18, you do notice that there is somebody sitting near the fire. You can't quite make out much about this person, but there's definitely a humanoid figure sitting near the fire.
So 5 of us and then 4 of them.
We could take them.
Well, there's 5 of you.
Do y'all want to interact, or do you want to try and?
Yeah, we should probably talk to them before killing them, right?
Yeah,
I was thinking we could just see if we can like get in the tree line and just listen in. Maybe.
Or should we hide our friend, like our glowing friend? Should he like stay back?
That's probably a good idea. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
So at this point, you start hearing the sound of the door behind you. Big sliding stone door starting to close behind you.
Oh boy.
Well, actually, sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. Because this was done as part of the lizard folk hand that you guys had severed to shove into the mechanism, it held the door open for a little while. But maybe it fell out, maybe it slid out, maybe there's a timer. You're not sure, but at this point, the sliding stone door is closing behind you.
Well, maybe we should get into the kind of behind some trees or something over here. I'm gonna move up behind this fallen log.
All right.
Okay, so I have Pass Without a Trace that I could try casting.
So tell me about that. Does it have a somatic? Does it have a vocal component? So if you look at the spell, it'll have SVM potentially, or some version of that.
Yeah, it says VSM.
Okay, so in order to cast that, you'll have to speak. So Basically, that says what you need in order to do it. You have to do somatic, which means moving your hands or something like that. Vocal, which is saying a word. And then material, which usually is a negligible component. I only care, and this is something actually you guys haven't really gotten too much into the magic, if there is a cost associated with any of your magical materials for a spell, those are things I care about. Everything else, I'm just going to assume that whenever you're in a town or wherever you're picking up things to. I don't care that you have like a charred piece of bark, you know. Although it'd be cool if you work that into your role playing. I'm not going to hold you to those.
What about an eyelash encased in gum? Arabic, whatever. Like, what is that?
Absolutely. You took some sap off of a tree and you stuck one of your own eyelashes in it. You know.
Sounds good to me.
I think that's what that is. So, but if it costs money, then you have to have that item specifically. So if you want to try to cast that, you will have to speak, and that's something that might matter.
So if I speak, do I need to roll like a stealth roll or something to see if...
You guys will likely have to roll stealth pretty soon anyway, especially if you're trying to sneak over to the trees, so, you know, up to you.
I mean, I have invisibility, but, like, I don't know if I should... Like, can we just, like, creep around? I hate to waste a spell on something simple like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hey guys, I think
these are just humans.
I mean, it is only
so.
I think we're overthinking it. Let's just freaking walk over there.
I'm just
You
say
tree line.
You stay back.
All right, let's go say hi.
I gotta stay back because I'm like a stoplight.
All right. So you hear a voice come from the camp. It says, "A person could assume a lot about a group who sneak through the night without announcing themselves."
Guess they know we're here.
And
Smell us.
Agnomeio, since you're kind of the closest, I'll tell you, but you know, at this point, she knows you're there. Are you guys going to approach the camp, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
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 I'll pop out into the middle. I'll just step out from behind my rotting log and be like, "Hey, hello. Do not be alarmed by my appearance. For you see, I am not actually a lizard person, but a gnome. It's a long story. Don't worry about it. We're just passing through."
Okay. So you see a rather large Goliath woman sitting by the fire. Her skin appears beige, and the low fire is illuminating a tapestry of tattoos across her body, face, and hands. She has a slightly crooked nose, perhaps from being broken before, and leaning next to her is a massive weapon. It's far from refined, being only a roughly hewn tree branch ringed with crudely banded iron. To even lift something like that would take immense strength.
Gotcha.
And she says, "The yellow one is like a beacon in the night. If you're going to glow, at least do it by the fire."
Okay, I'm kind of cold anyway. I'll come over there.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
She turns around and she kind of slaps the canvas of the tent behind her, and she says, "Indy, Shorty, wake up. We have company." And out from the tent behind
Helen rolls
her.
her eyes.
So I'm just gonna. So Daffy and Knobolas, are you guys staying back on purpose?
No.
Okay. So she slaps the tent behind her, and she says, "Indy, Shorty, get up." And we have visitors. So out of the tent behind her comes a short, muscly, bearded gnome. He comes out of the tent. Although he's shirtless, he apparently took time to put on a brown fedora, and he holds a whip in his hand. He says, Shayla, what's going on? Is this a good visit or a bad visit?" And Shayla says, "I haven't figured that one out yet." Then he walks up to you and he says, "Welcome to our camp. To what do we owe the midnight pleasure?"
Well, greetings, sir. I see you are a man of the weep. I too am fond of weepery. We are here. We just came out of those ruins, you see.
You have a very strange voice for a lizard.
Yes, you see, I am merely wearing a lizard suit. You may have heard of me, the great Noro.
Noro.
The savior of Hobbleton.
Hobblehaven? Yeah, Hobblehaven. Yeah.
No, Hobbleton. I wasn't the savior of Hobblehaven. That's too big. I was a little small time. Small town at the time.
I haven't been
just
in
one neighborhood. Just one neighborhood.
I haven't been in Hobblehaven or Hobbleton for about 20 years. So, hey, Shorty, get out here. So the tent to the south emerges a blue-skinned sea elf. And he's tall, he's slender, and he's got a wavy, long ponytail, and he's wearing all brown leathers. And he kind of walks out, and the gnome introduces him. He says, "This is my friend Short Drowned. He's a sea elf. He's kind of hanging out with us. And this big creature over here, this is Shayla LaBeouf. She's our muscle here. And I am the world-famous Indiana Gnomes." And hey,
Indiana Gnomes?
Indiana Gnomes. Yes, you've heard of me, I'm sure.
Of course. Who has not heard of the great Indiana Gnomes down in the slums of Hobblehaven?
Well, I'm happy.
It's friend.
Colin scoffs loudly and like, world famous is a bit much, don't you think, Indy?
Oh, absolutely not. This is exactly how much it should be. And, hey, Willie, get out here. And out of the other tent comes a very sleepy-looking human female carrying a lute. And she introduces herself. She says, "Oh, hi there. I'm Willie Capshaw. How you doing? Nice to meet you, I guess." And she looks over Indiana, and she's like confusedly like, "What's happening here?" And he says, Why don't you all take a seat and tell us what you're doing here in my camp in the middle of the night?"
We all sit down.
I'm down.
I would grab a seat.
Why not?
Are they at least gonna give us a drink or something?
Oh, drinks. What do you like to drink? I'm not sure what lizards drink. Do you want like fly juice or what do you drink?
Oh, they don't have the good stuff. Fine, fly juice.
Well, I don't have any fly juice. That was just more of a joke. We have beer and we have whiskey and
Oh, thank
Shayla,
God.
Shayla over here has some fermented milk that's been this kind of smells bad. She likes it. It's strong, I guess. I'm not sure.
Save your milk, Shayla. I'll take whiskey.
All right. So they pass some of the beverages around to whomever would like them. And what are you telling them?
Which distillery is this from? Is this
Well-
Tickle Juice, guys? Come on.
It's from the Glendragonic distillery. Over to the east there, near the ocean, where with all the Dragonborns, they make a good whiskey.
Cheers to that.
Everybody always mispronounces it.
So, Indiana, do you know anything about the gnomes that used to be in this area and the fog that is now present?
Well, a while ago, I was investigating the gnomes, but then this, let's just say a friend of mine, we were over in the Titanic Chasms, and I had this dagger that was supposed to be a key to the Temple of Alcarn over a little bit to the west, and I bunkered down for the night, and she stole the key from me. So I was out here trying to figure something out, trying to pick up a lead of what's going on with the gnomes, but I'm heading over to Halixia right now, trying to just kind of circumvent the whole situation. I hear that there's a dragon there, and where there's a dragon horde. So I figured there's treasure. Why not try to take it for ourselves?
So Indiana, that's the way you're telling the story. That I stole it when you know full well you came into my camp trying to steal it after I'd gone into the chasms and gotten it from that pit.
I don't know what you're talking
Damn.
Yeah.
What?
I'm having fun knowing that I'm a lizard and you don't recognize me.
Well, hold on.
Would anybody know that but Talon?
That's a good question. Let's think about that for a minute. So, when you typically go adventuring, are you alone or do you bring a team with you? And you tell me, would anybody have been aware? I mean, so actually, I'll even back up further. So, of this group, who you recognize, Talon, is Indiana, and you recognize Short Drowned. You do not recognize Shayla LaBeouf or Willie Capshaw. I had a lot of fun with these names.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah. Short Drowned.
Short Drowned. Anyway, so you tell me, what was your situation when you last saw Indy?
So, Talon, normally it's just her and Booker. She doesn't normally team up with anybody. So, my hint here is more that Talon knows what actually went down. And of course, Indiana would be like going around telling the story in a way that makes it look like, oh, it was stolen from him. And he did all the work. So only Talon would know that he was actually the one who stole it.
Okay, perfect. So as far as that goes, then he is Ooh. All right. So Indy, despite the bushy beard and the fact that most of his head is covered in the fedora, you could still see his cheeks turning just a little bit red. You've absolutely caught him in a lie. And he says, well, that dagger, it belongs in a museum. It did not belong to you. And the fact you might have did you say that you took it from him, right? And he's saying that you took it.
No. He tried to come and steal it.
He tried to take it from
I
you.
had gone and gotten it. He tried to get it from me.
Got it.
Did not succeed, and I escaped the Titanic chasms with the
Got it. All right.
Fireblade.
Yeah, he follows that up with, I had to pay every one of those people double, and we had to stay down there just to find the treasure to actually pay them. And I was stuck there for over a month because of you. So, first off, what the hell happened to your skin? I mean, you don't... like, can we just not gloss over that? So,
I mean,
like,
it was really fun looking down at you from this angle for once, so...
Like, he's still shirtless and like he's wearing these little white pants, little white shorts. He's basically, medieval tighty whities. So he's but he has no shame of that. He looks around at the rest of you guys and he says, are the rest of you lizards too, or is everybody here just like playing it? What? Tell me what's happening here. You're in our camp. Tell us what's happening.
We were made into lizards in order to avenge our fallen gnomish brothers. My gnomish brother.
I'm actually a lot more handsome than this in real life.
Ah, well,
I don't normally look like a glowing banana, just so you know.
I certainly hope not.
Indy, we used that blade for what it was, for its actual purpose, not sitting around in a museum, but to find the answers on what happened to the Alcarn gnomes. And in doing so, we got turned into lizard folk so that we could sneak in and figure out what's causing this fog. That's why we're here.
Well, maybe it's better I didn't keep that dagger then. So, what did you learn in the temple?
We learned that the lizard folk...
You learned what?
Oh.
I think you broke up a little, yeah.
Okay. We learned that the lizard folk have worked with someone to release this fog, and this fog is what's attacked and slowly destroyed the gnomes, along with the lizard folk. Also weakening them, making them susceptible to the lizard folk.
Okay. So you already know about the fog. Okay. I was going to tell you about that. I mean, bygones be bygones, right? The fog is really, really bad. You don't want to go near that fog. If you are exposed to it.
You know where the source is?
I do. It's from the Black Dragon. We're actually really close to the ziggurat, to Halixia. It's up over the ridge over there. In the morning, if you want, we can go up there together. I'll show you. But the dragon is actually emitting all of this poison gas, and it causes blindness. Temporary for a few days. But it's really, really painful. We used to have a fifth member of our team as well. We ended up having to drop them off with a local priest, and it was bad times. So don't go near the fog. But if you have a way to avoid disease or poisons, that could help. He actually, at this point, he's kind of more getting into, like, you guys, whatever is between you, he's getting into the idea of going into this next area, the next city. And he pulls out a map that he has of Halixia. So he
I like
pulls
that
out
your
this
voice
map.
needed a break.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Okay,
So
good.
I could do that all night. I could do it all night. I think people's ears need a break. So anyway, so he pulls out the map of Halixia, and he starts drawing on the map here, and he shows you. He says, "Look, I'm sorry." He says, "Look, if you're gonna get into Halixia, the whole place is flooded with UNT. There are these people. They're basically half snake, half person. There's really, really, really strong people there. You don't want to fight them all if that's what you're doing here. What you want to do is, I wouldn't suggest going in the front door. If you can, you want to try to sneak over the wall here into the market area. But if you're going to do that, you're going to meet a whole lot of people. You need some way to be hidden from them. So keep that in mind. Another option would be, if you decide to go through the front door, again, need a disguise or some reason to go in there. Something that they do is they trade in people for sacrifices. So if you have a way to, maybe somebody that you could sacrifice or pretend, either way, that might get you through the front doors. However, if you're able to get in, what you're going to want to do is get up to the ziggurat. And there's a secret passage that I'll tell you about, but it's going to cost you. What kind of,
I knew it.
Hmm?
I knew everything with you had a price. You always provide solid info, but it always comes at a price.
Well, of course. I mean, I've got to pay Shayla here so she doesn't just squish my head. And Shayla actually stands up and she says, "Indy, I'm not doing this for you. I need to be able to free my people before they become sacrifices." So she looks over at you guys and she says, "If you're going in there and you have a way to break anybody out of those cages, if you target the Goliaths, I will owe you a debt and I'll be sure to pay it."
Well, you mentioned in the morning. I think we need a good night's rest before this. I mean, is there any room? And Knobolas would like to walk up to Short Drown and be like, "Is there any room, in your tent to host us?"
Whoa.
So, make a persuasion check.
Somebody's feeling forward.
You know? Yeah, make a persuasion check.
Let's do it. Ooh, 12.
It's like a
A
parking
12.
ride over here. What's happening?
So short drowned, he says, "Absolutely, there's some space inside of my tent if you'd like to sleep here, but just keep your tail to yourself."
Wait till you see my large black rod.
He looks at you. He looks at you and he says, "Odd that it would be black given your purple scales."
No comment. I'm just gonna walk into the tent.
I have a quick question. How
Sure.
is are there any breaks that the black dragon emits his gas, or is it constant?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking a little guy. That guy.
Indy.
What's his name?
Indy.
Indiana Gnome.
Is it
Oh.
Indiana or Short Round with the voice?
Well, so the short
Indy.
drowned is the sea elf down here, and then there's Indiana Gnomes, who's the kind of the guy that's been talking for the most part.
Yeah, Indiana. So Indiana Gnomes. Is this gas always coming out of this friggin' dragon, or is there some? Are there some breaks in between to sneak in there? Or how's it work?
The poison comes from his breath. Not just a breath attack, but just the act of breathing. He is completely toxic. The only time there's a break is when he leaves to go feed, which only happens if the UNT are not able to sacrifice people to him. So, potentially, he could leave if he was hungry, but there would have to be a less people to sacrifice.
If we got in, released the prisoners that are being kept for sacrifice, and depleted their source of sacrifice, that would be a way to get the dragon to leave its pose. I don't know what we would do at that point, but
So Indy says, it's possible, but you'd have to get inside, release all the prisoners, not get killed, and then maybe the dragon flies away. Maybe stopping people from coming in might be a better approach, or just, I don't know if there's any other way to stop people from being sacrificed. It's up to you. That's nothing I'm interested in. We're actually going to go in a bit more undercover. So if you happen to see us in there, and we'll get back to that secret entrance in just a sec, but if you happen to see us in there, we're going to be disguised as UNT. So we're all going to be wearing a blue sash around our waist. So if you see somebody wearing a blue sash, we're not your enemy.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on here. I gotta write this shit down.
Yeah, I'm trying to type quietly, but I feel like
Yeah, seriously.
how are you guys disguising yourself?
So Willie here, she's actually a really good singer. And Willie steps up and she goes, "Yeah, I've been all over Avera. I've been playing in different taverns, and yeah, maybe you heard of me. I've been singing for quite a while. You guys ever been over to Avera?" Avera is the other continent that you guys have, at least presumably. You've been to Avera, Talon, but I don't know that the rest of you have.
Yeah, it's been a while,
We would
though.
love to hear your beautiful voice.
Oh, well, I don't
get
much know that
jealous.
the middle of the jungle at middle of the night is the best place to be singing a tune. But maybe in the morning.
Do not fear. I will protect us from anything that.
So
I think we all need a good sleep first.
I was like, Knobolas is just like in his tent, just like, oh,
Yeah.
So Indy looks over at you, Talon, and he says, "Talon, come here for just a minute, and come into my tent." And he walks back into his tent.
I come over with Booker because I can't click on one.
Sure. So he reaches down to try to pet Booker, and Booker would know his scent. How do you think Booker would react?
Booker kind of he doesn't growl at him, but he doesn't want to be pet by him. He's like,
sure.
No.
Okay. So Indy takes the map of Halixia out again, and he says, "Look, it's no fun trying to get this treasure, knowing that you're around, if I have a little, let's just say a shortcut. So I'll share this with you. On the right-hand side of the ziggurat, near where the poison flows, there is a hidden door. It's right about there. And you'll find there will be some hieroglyphics on the side. Push the one that looks like a snake. Real easy. Everything in this freaking place is a snake. So push the one that looks like a snake, and it'll let you in, and you'll be in the quarters of where the purebloods sleep. If you're lucky, there won't be anybody in there. So I wouldn't go at night.
The pure blood what?
Pureblood UNT.
Oh, those guys, the UNTs.
Mm-hmm.
You said
So-
you wouldn't go at night, or you would go at night?
He said, "Hey, I know it's tough. The voice is a little tough." So basically, he said, "Go to the right hand side of the ziggurat, and you'll find several hieroglyphics. Push the one that is a snake, and it will let you into the sleeping quarters of the pure blood UNTs. And just hope that there's nobody in there sleeping.
Got it.
But that will avoid quite a bit of hassle."
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, before we go, I think we should probably rest.
Yeah, let's
All right.
pop a squat.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Indy says you guys are welcome to set up your tents anywhere around here, and Shayla's taking the shift. Short Drowned is taking the next shift, and
Why is he not coming in the tent? Okay.
because Willie needs
I
her.
hate to break
go
it to you,
sleep.
Knobolas, but yeah, you don't smell as good as a lizard.
Fine.
You also just
So-
don't have the rippling muscularity.
I thought I did.
Oh, maybe you do, but maybe it's like
You
lizard
do.
prosperity. Maybe it's not.
You do,
but
but-
Lizard form.
Perhaps Short Drown's just not into it, but who knows? He is an elf. Maybe he is. Or maybe he just rolled low. So anyway, so Willie says, all right, everybody, I'll see you in the morning. And she goes back into her tent and lays down. Are you guys planning on sleeping out for the night?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So
Yeah, I tell the group that I've been around this guy before. I know him. You know, we can trust him. You know, up to a point. So we're safe to sleep. He's not gonna sabotage us or something.
all right.
Well, then
Get
I
some
will
sleep.
nestle up in the branches.
Well, so you guys, you don't have to. You could certainly nestle up in the branches. There's plenty of room for tents. You guys do have tents on you. I know that we haven't actually really slept much as lizards. It's been kind of grueling. So whatever you'd like, but
Yeah,
All right,
so
I guess-
let's just set up our tents and sleep. And I gotta
Yes,
get
and I am in the branches.
I'm gonna-
perfect.
I'm gonna sleep. I'll sleep on myself because I'm basically a big nightlight.
yeah, you'll keep everybody awake. We're definitely putting a tent over you.
Yeah.
But on that note, is someone staying awake? Like, is Shayla gonna continue to watch?
Yes.
Short-
Like,
short round.
it seemed like she was on watch.
Yeah, he said Shayla and then Short Round are taking shifts.
Okay.
All right. So you guys can all click long rest on your characters. It's been a while. You'll heal up. You'll do all your stuff. And while we're doing this, Alessio. So as you're kind of settling down for the night, you actually hear a voice inside your head, the voice of Nexori, and she says, "Alessio, deliver the orb to Elshu in Halixia. That's Elshu. She's a pureblood, purple eyes, half her face covered in scales. Find her at the snake's bite." And you'll remember from this spell, you're able to respond, but you can only use 25 words in order to do so.
I hear the voice and I say, "Exori, I hear you. Consider it done."
All right. Excellent. Cool. All right. So, did you guys all take your long rest?
Yes.
I like that y'all are always having like weird dreams and nightmares or conversations with people who aren't there. I get to just sleep my way through the night.
There are benefits to not having like evil
Right?
I don't know,
The
like patrons.
dark side.
Down in my nightmares and taunted by demons. Like I don't look forward to it.
Yeah. It's bad.
I miss I miss his mother. Your nipples are in danger. Oh, my poor Knobolas.
My poor
Why don't you give your mother a call anymore?
I think she's embarrassed by my lizard form. She's like, "What happened to you? You got fat, or you got lizardy, or I don't know."
Knobolas,
Oh, my
why you look so
handsome boy.
different now?
I knew all the kids were becoming lizards these days, but I didn't know what happened to you.
So let's.
Off a Brooklyn Bridge with you. Just saying. Jesus.
If you'd like to learn more about Knobolas' mother, join the Patreon for some behind-the-scenes information.
That's going to be a
Oh my
Patreon
God.
perk.
I
At
want to
some
learn more
point-
about my
at
mother
some
too. I
point-
mean,
at
like
some-
I'm the one that's like literally seeking her out.
Yeah, at some point in our epic journey, it'd be amazing to like all of a sudden we see Knobolas' mother somewhere. It'd be amazing.
Well, now
Well,
her voice is pretty much
That's
canon
cool.
at this point, so I'll have to
Yeah.
start working on it.
Yeah.
I hope I inherited my nips from my mother. Is all I gotta say. It's very beautiful.
Well, that's up to you if you'd like to try to find out. But,
I don't want
all
to see your
right,
mother's
getting us
name.
back on track here. So,
All right.
so Daffy,
We're back.
your body aches, but your tent provides shelter against the now all too familiar jungle. You wrap your tail around yourself as you've learned to do, and as you drift to sleep, tell me something that has bothered you recently, something traumatic or important from your time as a on this adventure.
I mean, falling off of that cliff wasn't great last week.
Last night. So,
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why I'm achy and yeah, didn't enjoy that. 0 out of 10.
fair enough. So, as you try to sleep, your mind is assaulted by visions of falling, and you feel the sharp edges of the jagged rocks ripping at your flesh. And you kind of you give up on trying to fall asleep. And you step out of your tent to find that your surroundings have changed. I'm going to switch to just you and me here. So the rest of the players will be able to hear us, but for now, it's just you and me on the VTT. All right. So, instead of dark green leaves, thick brown mud, and the constant buzz of mosquitoes, you step out of your tent into a psychedelic world of pink-leaved trees, ground illuminated in green and blue grass that shimmers as it gently blows in the wind. The aquamarine ground in front of you lays down as if water were flowing over it, and you feel a stiff breeze at your back. It's now that you realize that you're not in your armor, but instead in a long silk gown, the hue of which changes whenever you try to grasp exactly what color it is. Is it green, blue, red, purple? You have white sandals strapped to your feet, and you look as if you were royalty. You walk along the path, the grass seemingly moving out of the way of your feet with every step, then returning behind you. At the end of the path are two benches, interwoven with branches and leaves, crafted as if by an elven master. Between the benches is a stump of a tree. Upon the stump, a basket of apples. As you consider the sight, you look beyond it to a large tree. The bark, a dark reddish purple, rises mightily from the ground. In the highest of its boughs, a large owl makes itself known with a loud hoot. It descends down to the ground and begins to grow, transforming into a 7-foot-tall furbolg, brownish red fur, floppy ears, and a staff. It pulls out a pipe, and it lights it up before sitting down on one of the benches. "Hello, Daffy. Please, sit. We have much to discuss, and you have something of mine that I'd very much like to have back."
Okay, I'll talk with this furbolg. I mean, I feel like I just ate some sort of weird mushrooms just now with all these trippy colors, but let's go. Let's have a talk.
Sure. So you go over to the bench, you sit down, and it's now that you realize this is the same druid or furbolg that you saw in the cave over on Akari when you guys were rescuing Tinbrint. He does not seem aggressive to you, but instead seems to sit back in his bench and wait for you to make the first move.
Out of game, is this the furbolg that we may have killed?
No, so he escaped that first time that you guys met up with him inside the cave, and then you lit the tree on fire.
Oh.
And so you'll remember that. So you, let's see, just to give you a wide thing, not to give too much away. So you met him in the cave. He was there. There was the moss everywhere, all the random monsters. There was a table with a book on it. There was mushrooms in the cave. There was like that weird little spring there. You guys rescued Tinbrand and tried to bring him back to life, and then you lit his tree on fire.
That's right. It's all coming back to me. I guess I just want to apologize. I mean, setting that tree on fire, probably not our best decision. So I really am sorry for doing that. I feel like that was your property or something.
I could feel the torment in you as you watched the tree burn, and I know that was not your decision. But that is not what I need back. What I need is the book that you stole from me.
Yes, the book that I tried to open and read, but I never had any success with that. I can give that back to you, but could you maybe summarize it for me or give me a Cliff Notes version of the contents?
I'll do one better for you. And he looks over at you and he says the word Halix. And you hear the book. The book slightly vibrates, and a faint glow starts to come from the binding as it opens to a page that says The Wood-Woad, W-O-A-D. And would you like to read it?
Yes.
Okay. So the wood woad, it dictates a spell for creating essentially a being made from a person who willingly sacrifices themselves for more power. They basically turn themselves from living flesh into a moving tree. Much, much tougher, much stronger, and created with a single intent. Perhaps they might serve somebody, but for the most part, when they do the ritual to turn themselves into one of these wood woads, they have in mind what they'd like to accomplish. And when they accomplish that goal, the tree plants itself wherever it stands and continues to grow from there. And he says, Tinbrind was not my prisoner. Tinbrind came to me asking for more power, and I simply presented an option. What you interrupted was the spell.
Wow. Well, that's a lot of information you just gave me there, Mr. Name's Pharaoh Rainblossom. What a nice name you have.
Well, thank you. I adopted it, actually. My name was just Pharaoh when I was born, but I actually, you might be interested to know, I took my last name after your father.
You knew my dad?
I did know your father, yes, and your mother, actually. We traveled together for quite a while. We worked to prevent, actually, multiple disasters, mostly caused by the gnomes, but not entirely. For example, once in Hobblehaven, the town of Peewallow was almost wiped out by the Tudela River, which runs past Hobblehaven, as you likely know. When the dam that prevents the water from proceeding down into the gully started to crack, your mother and your father both came with me, and together we intertwined roots of a giant tree to brace the dam while it was being repaired. Did you...
So Daffy is kind of sitting here in awe just because she has heard stories about her parents. She never had the chance to... She never knew them. So this is a lot for her right now, and she's just drinking it all in.
He says, did you ever know your mother or father?
No, and wow, I sure wish I did.
Well, if you give me the book, I will not only tell you about them, but I'll tell you where you can find them.
They're alive?
I'll tell you everything once you give me the book.
Daffy looks down at the book, and it's almost like she's going to think twice, but she just keeps it over because that's everything she's ever wanted, is to find that sense of belonging that she thinks can only be found with her family. So I'll give the book.
So as you start to hand the book over to Pharaoh, he walks towards you and he kneels down in front of you, and he puts the book kind of on his hand, and he puts his other hand over the top of yours, and he says, thank you for returning this to me. Your mother, Nysilia, and your father, Taran, were both wood elves. And their last adventure, unfortunately, I do have to tell you that they have passed. But, as you know, with us wood elves, or not us wood elves, sorry, with the wood elves, death is not the end, at least not for the bravest of your kind. If you look just to the south of the disintegrated peaks, to the north of Erngor Zuak, which is a dwarven city, and to the south of the disintegrated peaks, there is a forest, and you will find them at the edge of the forest. Their last adventure was attempting to prevent the travesty that happened at the disintegrated peaks.
Well, what's the travesty? What were they trying to prevent?
So the rise of Dalek, Fireclaw, the ancient red dragon that erupted from the disintegrated peaks and caused the devastation that we now know. Your parents were there, and as you could assume, Unfortunately, we're not a match for an ancient red dragon. However, you will be able to find them, for as I told you, when particularly brave wood elves are blessed by Turasil, as they fall, a sapling will sprout from their body and grow into a mighty tree. Your parents' trees are planted side by side, and you'll see that their branches have interwoven, much like they did when we prevented the dam from breaking. I visit them on occasion, but as their daughter, I thought it was right for you to know where they are.
Damn, this is getting at the old heartstrings here. My God. I'd like to thank Pharaoh for his information, and I still have so many questions, like why is this happening right now in this dream? Is Tinbren someone that we need to be worried about? Like, what more vital information can you give to me?
He says, I'm no longer able to access the continent of Akari without traveling as normal means. However, something that you need to know about me is you will see me again, potentially very soon. I may not be doing something that looks right to your eyes, but you should trust me the way your parents did, that I am doing what is right for the world.
Hey, that's not at all sketchy.
All right. So Pharaoh gets up and he transforms once again into a giant owl, and he flies into the trees. And you sit there for a moment contemplating what he's told you, thinking about your parents, thinking about anything else, before wandering back to your tent, which is sitting at the edge of this glade. And when you wake up, it is the morning. So the next morning you all wake up inside of your tents, and you find that, potentially surprisingly, potentially not, the other 3 tents are gone, as well as is the group of travelers that you met who called themselves the Raiders. Indy, Short Round, Willie, and Shyla. So, the day is yours. What would you like to do?
Wait, do we still have our shit on us?
You still have all your shit on you. Nothing has been stolen. They have
Okay.
simply disappeared in the middle of the night.
Well, that's
Okay.
super suspicious. I don't like that. I never trust them anyways, except that the short round, whatever. What was his name?
Short Drowned.
Drowned.
Okay.
Fourth round.
Because he's a sea elf.
Yes.
I get it. He never came to me last night, so I'm upset with him.
$50 bill. $50 bill.
You never came to you last night?
Correct.
It's Dr. Jones.
All right,
I'm
guys.
Dr. Gnomes.
Dr. Gnomes.
All right, so I guess let's get a game plan here. Now that we're all awake.
So, while
the-
talking to Indy, you have learned that you are basically about a half day's travel from Halixia. You waking up on this day, you have today and tomorrow before. I don't recall. Remind me, because I don't know what I said, but I know what I think often. What did I say would happen to you guys after the 5th day?
Pretty sure we just transmorph back.
Yeah, I think.
With my
Yeah,
thought as
that's what I
well.
thought.
I think after the 5th day we return back to our normal selves.
Correct. Yes. Okay. That was what I was remembering that because the idea is that this could potentially give you a way in by being disguised. But I couldn't remember if I said it was permanent or not, which was an idea I had been toying with for a while.
No, it's
so-
definitely not permanent.
Definitely not permanent. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
I
this is
can't-
like I want to be beautiful.
I
again.
need my body.
So we're like,
Awesome.
what was it? A day out from the?
You're about a half day. Let's call it like 5 hours travel through the jungle.
Okay. So we could get there middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about our plan on the way, like, 'cause we gotta figure out how we're getting in.
Yeah, I think
what we're doing.
as we travel, like we're traveling along, but deciding our plan on, because he kind of gave us a couple of options.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
we
the
have
sneaky option's good, but we do have glowing.
Chloe's. You have
Well,
a
I mean, to
glowing-
be fair, I do have the ability to, at my level, I can make an additional character invisible with me. So if we want to
There we
hide our
go.
glowy friend, you know, we could always do that.
I know, but how long does that last?
An hour. Definitely, that one might be enough to get into the building unless there's any trouble.
So I will tell you that
Tell him that it's
Why am I glowing? It's so stupid.
because you rolled poorly. You rolled a
I'm
1
thinking
and then
maybe
you
we tell
rolled.
him he's some sort of god or chosen one. We need to use him to get in and to see the bosses. I don't know.
yeah. Let's yeah.
That's the
He is the enlightened lizard.
Yeah. The enlightened lizard. I like that.
That's pretty good.
Can we start a
all right.
church right
I
quick?
like it.
So
I love picking up new religions.
So let's do this,
Yeah.
Talon. So Talon, I would like you to roll let's say history. This is gonna be you talking with Indy about the UNT and what kind of information you
Okay.
were able to learn about them as a people.
Okay, cool. Wait, what was that? Hold on. Whiskey.
Good. Good
Oh,
idea.
I have to
fresh
pour
pour
whiskey.
with you.
Two.
I love that mask. Are you gonna kill that? Please kill that.
That is a
Mine's
huge-
massive bottle of
You're
Knob
close.
Creek.
Love it.
It's a 1.75 liter of Knob Creek.
That's a big boy.
I've never seen one that big. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Love it.
All right.
Damn.
Go for it.
Okay, that better have been worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it no matter what your role is. You just
I know, right?
17.
Oh, that's much
Great.
better. Much better. 17 will get you
much
quite
better
a bit
than
more.
a 7.
There you go.
All right. Well, so let me ask you this, Talon. So I'm about to give you some information about these people. Would this information be stuff? It's general knowledge. Would it be something that you would share with the rest of the group? Do you think? Like you'd probably come out and be like, "Oh, I know all this stuff about them." Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's hard to know. I'm more saying, should I say it just to you, or should it like later, or should I say it in front of the group?
Yeah, no, go ahead and just say that. I
Cool.
will mostly share it. Anything that I think will help save our asses and get us to the destination.
Excellent. All right. So the UNT, they are essentially a group of half snake, half human people. And at various kind of levels, think of it like a cult. As a new member, you're what's considered a pureblood, which means that you may be mostly human, but you might have like a couple of features of snakes. Maybe your eyes are like they've got the slits or they're yellow. Maybe you have some scaled skin, like the person that you heard about, Alessio, is a pureblood. So they just have some funky eyes and they have some scaly skin. Once you have proven yourself as being powerful, you mutate and you get some more snake-like features. The idea is that snakes are deemed to be the perfect creature. And the more powerful that you are, the more snake-like you become. So you could extrapolate this out to the most powerful people are almost entirely snakes, whether they have kind of a long tail and like a human torso, or there are people who have literally snakes for arms. All of these things are kind of what you're trying to become. And as you prove yourself through battle or through whatever else sacrifice, you gain in power. Now, all of these UNT, they thrive on this concept of enslavement and sacrifice. And from what you've learned from Indy is they're sacrificing them to the dragon. That is why he is there. He is producing this toxic gas that they are the UNT are using their slaves and themselves to make it flow basically around this jungle as a way to trap people and bring them in. Segregate different groups, as you've seen with the Temple of Alcarn. So, I believe that's everything that a 17 will get you.
That was a lot.
Damn.
It was a lot. 17's a great roll. Yeah.
Mhm.
What should I pick
So-
next?
So,
I moved
Sorry,
to
go ahead.
Scotch. I put some Ardbeg grooves because
Oh.
we were talking about groovy, weird
I'm gonna-
shit dreams that Daffy was having.
right? That was a groovy dream right there.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love it.
So
I'm gonna combine
I
what I
know-
had with what Alessio's having. I'm gonna do a peated Irish. So
Nice.
there you
All
go.
right.
That's right.
All right,
Do
go
I
for it,
know
sorry.
if the UNT are a new thing or if they've like this is a race
Mm-hmm.
that's been around kind of thing?
So they have been around for an exceptionally long time. They are probably one of the oldest species or groups of beings in this world.
Okay, and they've always worked by this sort of system of they mutate as they gain power,
Correct.
kind of thing. Okay, so it's not likely that the fog
Mhm.
is causing mutations within them and adding to their power.
Right. And actually, I would
It's
say
just a
just by being people in this world, all of you would know at least a little bit of the UNT, whether you believe that they're real or you just think that they've been eradicated. Like, they do not make their way to normal cities. They live in the jungle or in sometimes the deserts. They are pretty much just to get like in one central location, and they bring slaves in from random locations via raiding or hiring people to bring them in.
So they're like chupacabra. We don't know if it's real, but it turns out.
Like folklore.
But there's lots of stories. Yes.
Like you tell your
Right.
kids, like, you better
Yeah.
be careful. The UNT will get you.
Right.
Right.
But anybody who it's kind of, think of, I mean, they're based off the Aztecs and the Mayans, right? It's like if you found out right now that there was a Mayan temple somewhere in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, you'd be like, that shouldn't exist. Like, that's kind of the same idea. Finding out that these people are even real is enough of a surprise. The fact that you're potentially about to go march into their city is wild.
Should we be trying to figure out, like, I mean, I guess, should we just, I mean, like we said earlier, should we just start heading that way and figure out what we're doing on the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to ask the group, are we trying to murder this dragon? I mean, I'm always
Yeah.
up to murder. I'm good with murder.
I think
I'll
we
murder a
need
lot of people.
We want
Well,
it in the fog, right? That's our-
Noro, you want to, this thing is basically single-handedly taking out your people.
Yeah. So, are we good? We are good on murder? We are good
I mean,
on all of us? All of us?
I'm
kill
not
time?
saying,
Oh
like-
yeah.
I'm not saying we're gonna throw you like onto his back and you just start stabbing him like you want to.
Yes.
We're gonna have to like come up with a plan. I'm just saying.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
we're on
the
board
same
with
page.
murder.
Okay.
Yeah. Totally on board with the dragon
I'm bored
dying
with-
and
I'm
somehow
bored with murder.
I love
not
that.
breathing anymore. So there's no more fogs. Or giving him Listerine or something. You know, like if he can live and like just not breathe, dirty breath, like that'd be cool.
So, but we want to get access to the dragon without getting the UNT up our tuguses.
Agreed.
Right? That's the idea. Basic
Yeah,
idea.
we need to.
Yeah, I think we want to get to the dragon and somehow defeat the dragon. Anybody
I
know how to
wonder-
kill a dragon?
Do we all have, like, a combination of spells that could get us in unattended? I have a couple options I could do, but I'm curious what you guys have going on.
I just got that sleep spell, which could be real helpful.
That could be useful for
Knocking
sure.
out guards and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I have Pass Without a Trace.
that's good. It's really good.
Um,
I have two different ones. One can help someone else if someone else doesn't have anything like that. The other one is Disguise Self, which says I can adjust my appearance. I'm reading the description now. It says you must have the same basic arrangement of limbs. However, he said something about snake arms earlier. So, like, if I want to have freaking snake arms to seem like a freaking Imperial UNT, then,
That's
I
rad.
might do
Yeah,
that.
one of us you could make yourself super snaky, and then we could be like your, I don't know, bodyguard or like
Disciples.
hangar.
Yeah. yeah.
Maybe. That's the way. That's an idea.
Yeah, I like that.
We can be like the ones who carry you on a chair kind of thing.
Yes. But I also have invisibility, which lets me take it with one other person. If we do need to hide our glowy yellow friend, then that might be the better option. So we have multiple ways we can do this.
Or we can make our glowy yellow friend the snake person, make him super special.
I don't. It's
So-
Disguise Self, unfortunately.
Oh, it's
I
just got
thought
self.
about
Never
that,
mind.
too.
Never mind.
Yeah, I thought I had that exact same thought. I'm like, ooh, golden snaky thing.
Yeah.
No.
So there is another spell called Seeming, which is actually what Willie cast or said that she was going to be casting on the other people. It's able to affect multiple people. Basically, do disguise self for other people without polymorph.
Okay.
Oh.
Dude, that's pretty rad.
Oh, that's why she was going on about singing?
Mhm.
Like she has to sing to cast that spell?
Perhaps.
I was like very confused about. She's like, "Oh, here's our singer." I'm like, "Okay."
I'm so mad at them for like I'm like if I see their blue belts, like I'm gonna be like, what the fuck, man?
Right?
So let me
Hey,
ask
we
you
didn't
another
steal our
question.
I
shit,
only
so.
see in shades of red.
All right, so let's.
So-
We should probably get going then.
Yes.
So I don't need
Yeah,
an
we're
answer
doing
to
this
this
while
now. You
we're-
guys. Sorry, I don't need an answer to this now. You guys can discuss it. Is your intent? There's a couple of different ways that you can go about this, plus anything that I'm not considering. Is your intent to try to sneak towards the towards the city? Are you planning on going towards the front gates, or are you going to do something completely different? Those are the two kind of things I've heard you guys mention. That's why I
Yeah.
call those out.
I'm saying, I'm thinking, Knobolas disguises himself. We walk in, and then we figure out how to sneak and get to the dragon once we're in.
I mean, there was also that like climbing over the wall and entering through the market. I don't know if that would be beneficial to us, but that's an option.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could sneak in through the market area and try to, because I wonder if that way we could sneak into there, and then you can dress up as being like an Imperial UAT
But the problem with
or
that is
whatever.
like they're gonna be like, wait, where did this guy come from? Versus making a grand entrance into the main entrance. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
See,
Make
I
a
worry
grand
that they'll
entrance,
be
make
like,
it
yeah, but I worry that by going through the front entrance and claiming you're somebody big, but nobody's ever heard of you, like, will be,
It's a good point. It's a good point.
as opposed to you're already in and now you're just wandering around as somebody big, not being announced kind of thing. Just
The
you're
novelist
there.
wants like the grand entrance. Like he wants to be like, oh yeah, look at me, look at my snake.
I'm a snake. I'm a sneaky
I
snake.
like the idea. I like the idea of maybe
Tell
going
him-
in through the through like the market might be a little bit more beneficial rather than trying to get through the front door.
How about y'all go in through the market, be ready at me at the door, and I come in the big door, like I blow it open, and you're like, oh my god, it's so and so. Oh my god, I'm a #1 fan.
Oh, that's good. I like that actually.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
That's clever.
I like
There
that.
we go. We're like waiting and we've already heard of you. But also that means they have to see us. They have to see us and know we're there, and we have to look like we should be there.
See y'all.
Like, if it's just UNT here and not any like just lizard folk, then we
So-
stick out when it's worth it.
So, something that you guys learned within the Mescale Caves is that and also remember, you have a bag of lizard folk eggs on you. I have no idea if that matters or not, but it's just probably something you guys haven't considered. You guys learned that the lizard folk are often delivering gold or riches or whatever treasures to Halixia. That was
There
actually
would
why
be
they have
lizard
that
folk
path.
wandering about Halixia.
There would be lizard folk, yes. There would probably be any number of races between both slaves or possibly purebloods that are trying to transition, because it could be any humanoid. Like you could potentially have a dwarven
Oh.
snake-headed thing, which would be kind of hilarious, but that is possible. Anybody could become a pureblood if they are trying to join this situation.
Okay.
UNT
Did
is
you say
more of
the
a
name is Halixia?
Halixia, Halixia.
Isn't that the same word that was used to open that book?
Halix, yes. Halix is the
Halix,
name of the
yeah.
world breaker, the giant serpent that formed the world. As
Oh.
it
God,
currently
you
is.
gave the book to the World Breaker. Oh boy.
I wish I was that
All
clever.
right, well,
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's
I'm not
get
giving
going.
anything away. All right. So, oh shoot. Just
So
as you
is
guys
that
make a
what we're
decision.
gonna
Okay,
do?
here we go.
Wait,
That-
wait, do we actually have a
Mhm.
plan? Is that what we're gonna do? So
Yes.
I'm waiting to hear that too.
Knobolas is
He
gonna
did.
Knobolas
And
is
I'm
gonna
gonna-
be an Imperial UNT, typical.
Yep.
And the rest
we
of
can
us.
walk in like crying his praises, like "Make way for Lord Knobolas, the Snake-Handed."
Knobolas. I need like a snakier name.
Cespacifus.
That's a damn good name right off the top of your head. Cespacifus.
Oh, so we're going in with him. We're not sneaking in via the market and there to like acknowledge he already is a person.
No, you guys are.
Okay. What are you doing?
Wasn't that the idea? You and Jason?
Just me and Jason are sneaking in through the market?
I'd rather sneak. I think I should. I would like to sneak into the market just because I'm yellow. Yeah. I don't want to cause too much attention, and also I want to see if I run into this Snake's Bite Tavern.
Oh yeah, you're up to shenanigans.
Once we get to the walls, you guys go in ahead, and then we'll follow.
Okay, so then Daffy and Agnomeio are going to go along with Knobolas to go in the front door.
So, something to keep in mind, Alessio, and it's up to you to figure out how this works. Glowing yellow is going to attract attention. So you might want to think about why that is or how that works. So, especially if you're climbing over a wall.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured that out yet. I guess we'll... Maybe we could test out some stuff off. Maybe we could test out some spells while we're on the way to reduce my glowing. I don't know.
All right.
Invisibility.
So let me ask you guys a question.
Wasn't
based on
somebody able to cast invisibility on somebody else?
That was me. I mean, it's myself and someone else. I don't know if I could do both. That's a build question.
So yourself and somebody else? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So invisibility, it's originally for myself, but at higher levels, I cast it on someone else as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Typically, the way those work is that you can do it to multiple people when you cast it at higher levels. So let me just double check this. When you cast a spell using blah, 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 you can target one additional creature for each slot above level second. Yes, so you would be able to make yourself and somebody else invisible at third level.
I'm at fourth level.
So at fourth level, if you cast it at fourth level, you can make 3 people, including yourself, invisible.
Can I not include myself? And
unfortunately not.
Okay, but if it lasts an hour, right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do I have to make myself... Like, can I make myself invisible?
I take that back. A creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything to blah, blah, blah. So it does not have to include yourself. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, you can target one additional creature for each slot level above 2nd. So if you cast it at 4th level, you would be able to make 3 people invisible.
Do y'all want that?
Me and Alessio want to be invisible.
Yeah, I'm not much of a sneaky guy, so I'm good.
You're definitely gonna have to. I mean, even if it's just me, someone's gonna have to make me invisible. I can't be freaking yellow.
Yeah, but even if you had to be invisible, we have to go in before you. So it's like, if it lasts. Yeah,
you definitely have to go in before me, and like I don't know, we have to figure out like a signal or something. But let's get it going here.
Yeah, let's get going.
So let me ask you guys a question. So we're nearing the end of the session. So I'd like to know what you're planning to do, because right now it sounds like Alessio and Tallinn maybe are going over the wall into the market, and Knobolas is going through the front doors as a snake god. Tell me what you're doing.
Yep, that sounds like it to me.
So what are Daffy and Agnomeio doing?
We are his hangers on, his entourage.
Okay.
Cheerleaders. Woo! Look who it is.
So, Knobolas, something to know, and I hate to do this only because it might throw a wrench in this, is disguise self. Although you can make yourself look like anything, as long as it's kind of about the same size, you'll look like a fairly smaller version of a pretty advanced person. But, all right, so let's go back to that 17 that Tallinn rolled, because this is useful information. As you progress through those levels of UNT, you are going to have people who are all different kinds of mutated, potentially of the normal size. But as you get to like those higher levels where you'll start having an entourage, you're going to be growing a bit. You're going to be bigger. You're going to have like snakes coming out of everywhere. You're going to look like a crazy person. If you were to try what you're trying to do, it could succeed. It'll be rolls and everything. There might be disadvantage in some cases, but we'll get to that when we do. But it would be weird that you'd be small, but still being like, I'm the best thing ever. Unless you come up with a good reason for it, which you totally could. And it sounds to me like you're going to have about a week to try to figure that out. So.
A week? Oh, not in-game, real life.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does say I can grow 1 foot taller. Just FYI.
Okay, that's good to know. So, and Knobolas, if I remember correctly, you're a fairly large guy. You're about 6 feet tall.
I am very, very
Yeah.
large and multiple.
Oh, no, you're 5'6".
Hey. As a lizard folk, I'm the tallest now, and I know
That is
Leo's
true.
like the second tallest. So
Okay, well, you know
All
what?
right.
we're
As
the big
Elvin-
ones.
Elvin.
So
Whatever I
let's
was.
let's do this. So it's 11 o'clock. Let's end the session here, and you guys should take advantage of this time to talk in the backstage chat and figure out what you'd like to do. I think you have a plan, but I think you guys could chat a bit more, and then we'll figure it out from there. But as for that, thank you everybody for joining us here on Dungeons and Drams, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Before we sign off, real quick, Knobolas, you are on Matt Madness this week, right? On Friday?
Apparently not.
Oh, apparently not. Oh,
It's
okay.
I just meant apparently my date's being shifted a bit. So,
Okay.
but there is Matt Madness this week. Somebody is competing. I have no idea who.
Sure. And Adriana, you actually beat me out on the first round, the qualifier round. Adriana got first place out of 5 people, so hell yeah, nice job.
I saw that. That was awesome.
That was tough. But congratulations. Do you know when you're playing next?
March 10th.
March 10th. Excellent.
That Friday. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to announce or mention before we sign off?
Nope.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you everybody in the chat for drinking along with us. Thank you everybody in the future for watching along with us. Be sure to let us know in the comments. We don't hear from. We have like a lot of people who watch this, but only like some people who join us live. So let us know in the comments if you're watching this and if you're enjoying it. And for everybody else, we will see you in a week. Cheers.
Cheers.
guys.
Cheers.